There is no perfect standard for marriage. As far as your marriage is concerned, your uncle's marriage cannot be the pattern. As far as your marriage is concerned, Pastor Elvis' marriage cannot be the pattern. There is no marriage on earth that is the pattern for the success of your marriage. You can glean wisdom, you can glean understanding, you can glean knowledge from other marriages, but the moment you make some marriages or a certain marriage the standard and the pattern of your marriage, you may lose the substance of your marriage. Because you see, we have about 8 billion different people here on earth. What somebody applied to successfully live with another may not work with yours. You can learn certain patterns around my life and it will work for you in business. It may work for you in ministry. But when it comes to marriage, it may not work. Because who I'm married to is different from who you'll be married to. That is why it becomes extremely dangerous if the pattern and the system you want to build for your marriage, you got it through telenovela. When somebody has written a script and another person is acting it and you are actualizing it, telling you, every one of you who is not married has a picture, and you have guarded the picture so hard in your heart. This is how marriage is supposed to be. But you see, when you get the picture of how marriage is supposed to be, you must be intentional to get another picture of how your marriage is supposed to be. How marriage is supposed to be is different from how your marriage. We have generic and we have specific. Marriage brings you to the place of specificity. You may love the smiles of somebody's wife, but the truth is that that smile is sponsoring their marriage. But in reality, there is something else the one you are married to has that must sponsor your marriage. That is why you must understand that everybody entering into marriage must have a sense of an architect. You are going to design something that suits you. That sometimes even when your parents come home, you have to hide it, because when it goes public, it looks like it's mockery, but it suits you. So sometimes you have to hide it, that you are as a lady, you are the one taking care of whom. You have to hide it, because when you go out, that's not the custom, that's not the norm. But in the first 3 years of your marriage, maybe for you, that is what must happen for the marriage to be sustained. When we step out now, the norm is that husbands must pay school fees. But for you, for the marriage to work in the next 6 years, for your children to survive, maybe you must be the one to pay the school fee. That one, if you come and look at my family, you may crash your home, because you may come and see me paying school fees. You may see another person's marriage, things are working, the husband is paying school fees. If you begin to judge marriage by that their standard, you will come back and destroy your own. But it's possible that there is something also happening in their own that is abnormal, but actually they have to hide it so the marriage keeps moving. Every marriage has something they are hiding. Can I tell you, every true couple is an actor. If you don't learn acting, you will fail in marriage. So see, there should be a picture in your mind. I love Pastor Elvis' marriage. I love my parents' marriage. I love my uncle's marriage. I love my auntie's marriage. But the truth is that my marriage will not be fashioned like that. I wait to see the person I have to marry. And let me tell you, not until marriage you will never know who you married. It is in the marriage you find out. Then you begin to sew the garment to fit what you just located. There are very handsome men sitting here now. The biggest problem is bathing. Asheke Ari Avagas Labaroske Kikaris Palos Kivas You see, the major problem is bathing. Perfume is doing a good job. The ministry of perfume in the ministry of the servants of God. You may see a handsome young man dressed well with perfume and all that, but when you marry, that is when you realize that boxer shorts can be worn for 3 days. You don't know. I tell you. And your husband said, my father wear one boxer shorts and day. Madam, share. And your fear. And what happens is people bath by smelling their armpits. If the armpit is still cool, why bath? Why bath if the armpit is cool? Is that a disaster? No. So it is up to you to understand that this is the one I've come to meet. Now, how do I sew the marital garment to fit it, so that I will begin to manage, caress, adjust, manipulate the person out of this situation? If you go around shouting, that is not, and some of you will even be pointing to your partner, this is not how marriage is. Have you married before? And I say, you were married before I came to marry you. This is not how marriage should be. This is not how marriage should be. Ubisani said, so how should marriage be? He said, but I watch movies. I speak to people. No. Marriage is the only institution you are giving certificate before you start. So nobody has been married more than your partner. Let me tell you, 25 years, 11 years, 16 years, 19 years in marriage. Let me tell you, at a point in time, they realize that they have to fashion their marriage according to what is on the ground. Do you know the number of people who now understood that have been married to a cheat? So let me see how to manage it. There is no book about marriage or relationship that will endorse cheating. So if you read all the books, you won't find solution until you sit back and understand who your partner is and begin to create a system to contain him or her. That's the only way you can survive. There is no book on earth that will endorse liars. So what if you marry a liar? No book give you 3 ways to turn a stingy man to a liberal man. Please show me that book. I need it for somebody. But you see, there are people who are married to stingy people for 10 years. Let me tell you, from the beginning, they try to fight it. But over time, they realize that this is the reality. Now, let me bring out my creativity to handle it. So you won't give me the money, but I'll create a system for you to release it. Many people became smarter after marriage. Marriage has a way of teaching you how to be sharp. How to be. I'm not saying go and steal. I said create systems. No, any trouble. Create systems. Yes, you create systems that can turn a stingy person to a liberal person. This life called marriage should not be lived based on what you have seen about others. This is the mistakes of today's generation. You saw a couple wearing the same clothes. You have a picture. Me and my partner must wear the same clothes. You saw them go to Dubai. Me and my partner must. And they put it, lock it in their mind. Must. You saw some people opening doors for their wives. Me to my husband must. You saw at home being served with drinks and with all kinds of options and all that. Me too must. So you enter a marriage and you start to create everything, not based on your intuitions, your character, your understanding, what is available for you and your partner. Now you are not building a marriage based on that. You are building it based on what is available to others. There is a certain level of discipline a woman must sustain to be able to run a home like another woman. Making sure that kitchen is in a way, living room is in a way, making sure that a particular food is being cooked at this time, making sure there is a level of discipline. Your partner may not have it. So when you start marriage, you must understand the nature of your partner. Maybe your partner doesn't have any business with night gown. To a no say on the Namwasha TV, no channel so he or she has done that for years. But you also have been watching movies or seeing other people, and you see how nightgown and children will come and surround you, and then you pray, and then you go, hey, I love you. You go to a child's, you kiss the child, I love you. You kiss a child, oh, I love you. You sing a lullaby, you do that, and then you go, you see that picture. All the children you see in movies are acting. To get your child to even sleep on his bed, and even on you and your wife's bed, to get him to sleep at the other side, he wants middle. I just want you to understand some of the mistakes we do. There are things that we think that is how marriage must be, that I want to tell you that is not how. If we marry, the first 6 months there will be no pregnancy, we will have fun, and then after 6 months or after 1 year we will get pregnant, and children can start coming in, and after 1.5 years we will buy a land, and then we will start building, and then and after 1 year I will give this my car to you so that we will buy another car. If we combine our salaries, we will do that and do that and do that. You marry 2 months, one loses his job. 1.5 months, no one shall see a fee. Plans in Ina say, Honorable said there's a difference between scripts. In reality, there's a difference between script and acting. But I say 1 year, make me 1 year, say I will have fun. I feel one of us say you need another person to have fun with. Any 3 months, I will ban him. This is why people enter into marriage, they get so disappointed and depressed. There are many of you worried about something that is normal. The day that you open up, sit down with a counselor, sit down with somebody like our mothers and fathers who have been in it for 16 years, 19 years, 25 years. The day you sit down with them and you decide to say the things and the reason why your marriage was not meant to be, they will laugh at you. It's so normal. They crossed that level 15 years ago. So most of you, these mistakes, you are committing it now, and you may lose a marriage before you enter. There are some of you who really met somebody who was meant for you, but because of a picture you have in your mind, you started becoming too straight to a point that you lost the person, and now you are searching and not finding. Many people who divorced and remarried will tell you that it's not so different. But you see, at this point, they can't complain. That's why when you divorce one, you can end up marrying like 2 times, 3 times. That's why you realize that most of the problems they are just meant to come. And it will take your understanding into who you are married to begin to build and fashion your living and your stay with that person. This thing that you are discussing about, I want my marriage to be like this particular own. I want my marriage to be like that. I want my marriage to be like that. Listen to me. This life is so strange. I just say, everybody is handling something nobody knows about. So even if me, I can counsel you for marriage, but the best counseling will be the reality on the ground. And it's possible that it is when you enter that you really know the person, and you realize that the person is totally different from every other person you have met. That means every other person you have met cannot really help you out in handling the person. If I am not who you have met, I can't really teach you. Some of you who also have a certain picture in your mind to a point that you are so sure that this person I have met must be the one I'll marry because he is the perfect picture, she is the perfect picture of who a good wife must be and who a good husband must be. Brother, you are making a mistake. You will never be too sure. The one that you are too sure, you may cry later. This person that God has given me is an angel from heaven. I know very well that when God was creating him and putting the rib inside of him, I was the one. God saw me. Now I describe nobody can talk me out of this marriage. God gave him to me. God gave her to me. You are too sure, my sister. Too sure, and unsure. Why? You see, because you have a picture. And some of you, the only intimate conversation you've had with the person is just once, and the person was able to play along to fit himself into a picture in your mind, a certain way marriage should be. And you are not sharp. When you met the person, he asked you, how do you see marriage? Then you started spilling everything out. I think this is how marriage must be. I think this is how marriage must be. I think that. Whilst you were saying it, the person was taking notes, and he will act it in the days of relationship until you marry. That's why you realize that you marry something.